Hello, welcome to McDowell's Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through each of the battles in the American Grand Campaign in Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. We start on the strategic map. It is 0800 hours on December 19, 1944, and the weather is overcast. Combat aviation and artillery have been allocated, and there are no supply drops. In the last episode, the US 424th Regimental Combat Team of 106th Division fought the German Kampfgruppe Knittel from 1st Panzer Division at Manschau. The result was a major American victory. The next battle is at Losheim, between the US 112th Regimental Combat Team of 28th Division and the German Kampfgruppe Stephan from the 2nd Panzer Division. The village of Losheim should be held at all costs. The three-storey buildings at the centre of town and the Hotel de Losheim are the dominant strongholds of Losheim. Holding the road to the Schnee Eifel is also critical so that you can have an avenue of retreat. On the US side is an American infantry battle group from the 112th Infantry Regiment under command of Colonel Nelson. It moves slowly and reserves are full. The company consists of 3 platoons. 1st and 2nd platoon are infantry, and 3rd platoon is a support platoon with 2 anti-tank guns and a mortar. The original squads retain their names and statistics. The battle group has been brought up to full strength, and there are no new squads. Now, let's review each of the squads. 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. 3-1 is 3rd Platoon Headquarters. 1-1 is 1st Platoon Headquarters. 2-2 is a BAR squad. 1-2 is a BAR squad. 1-3 is a rifle squad. 2-3 is a rifle squad. 3-5 is a recon squad. 3-2 is a 57mm anti-tank gun. 3-3 is a 57mm anti-tank gun. 1-5 is a Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun. 2-5 is a Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun. 3-4 is a 60mm light mortar. 1-4 is an M9 bazooka squad. And 2-4 is an M9 bazooka squad. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission is to delay the Germans at Losheim. The village of Losheim sits at a crossroads atop a ridgeline, with the road to Udenbrecht to the north, to Schnee Eifel to the northwest, Duisburg to the south, and the Reich to the east. Prominent buildings include the church and the Hotel de Losheim. East of the village, the ground drops away sharply to the low ground. The area around the village consists of light woods and open fields. As a result of the fall of the ground, line of sight falls away and observation east of the village is quite limited, even from the multi-storey buildings. The buildings provide good cover and excellent concealment. However, the terrain provides cover and concealment to an attacker right up to the eastern fringes of the village. There are no notable obstacles to mounted or dismounted movement, so an attack can come from any direction. The crossroads are the only key terrain in the area. Avenues of attack could include from the east or from the south. In the last battle, the Americans held a defensive position southeast of the town of Losheim and conducted reconnaissance against the German position at the crossroads. Then, the Germans abandoned the position and the Americans took possession of the crossroads without a fight. The Germans are now back. The Germans could attack up the road, using the road for vehicles and the light woods for infantry. They could infiltrate up to the crest of the hill, then use smoke and the buildings on the edge of the village to mask the initial assault. This was the German attack plan on day 1 of the campaign. The killing zone would be the area east of the village along the crest of the ridge. Alternatively, the Germans could swing around the south, attack from an unexpected direction, and outflank the village entirely. In this scenario, the Germans would attack a narrow front from south to north under cover of smoke, allowing them to concentrate their firepower on fewer defenders at a time. The killing zone would be the road south of the Hotel de Losheim. The first course of action is for the Americans to form a tight defensive position centered on the village. First platoon would take the northern half of the village, including the church. Second platoon would take the southern half of the village, including the hotel. Third platoon would support from a depth position to the rear. A 57mm anti-tank gun would cover the gap between the platoons as a primary task, and the open ground to the south as a secondary task. The second anti-tank gun would cover the open ground to the front of second platoon's position as a primary task, and the open ground to the south as a secondary task. All 3 platoons would create a crossfire on the most likely avenue of approach. Second platoon headquarters would provide early warning of any movement to the south, and second platoon's bazooka would reinforce the anti-tank gun. This plan focuses on the crossroads, but while platoon headquarters would provide early warning, second platoon would still find it difficult to pivot south to meet a flanking attack, and would be fighting alone, with first platoon isolated to the north. The second course of action is for the Americans to extend their defensive position to get better observation into the dead ground and deny the southern approach. First platoon would defend the village itself. Second platoon would dig in southeast of the village, looking into the dead ground and refusing the right flank. Third platoon would remain to the rear, with 57mm anti-tank guns placing a crossfire where the road emerges from the dead ground. This plan would benefit from flanking fire on the most likely avenue of approach, but first platoon would be very spread out, and the proposed location for second platoon seems more appropriate for an armoured element capable of counterattacking over the open ground. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. 3-2 on the flank, covering the approach to the village with flanking fire. 3-3 in depth, covering the road with frontal fire. First platoon on the left flank. Second platoon on the right flank. And third platoon in depth. With the recon team to the north. And so we begin. Armour. To the east. Lots of it.
Barrage available!
Let's disrupt the assault with artillery. The Germans are attacking north and south of the road.
Area secured!
3-2 knocks out the Sturmgeschütz. German armour is pushing forward. The Kommandowagen Sonderkofferzeug 251 is destroyed. The Sonderkofferzeug 234x1 is destroyed. The Sturmgeschütz to the north threatens the recon squad. German armour is laying down heavy fire.
Clink.
Once again, the artillery barrage has no noticeable effect.
Conserving ammunition!
Well, that was intense. The Sonderkofferzeug 250-10 3.7cm anti-tank half-track is destroyed. 1-3 on the left flank was wiped out. The Sturmgeschütz in the north is immobilized. The Puma 5cm is destroyed. 1-2, the BAR squad is wiped out. The American left flank is under intense pressure. (2-2) has also taken heavy casualties.
Taking fire!
1-5, 1st Platoon's Browning medium machine gun gets the worst end of a machine gun duel. Venom's medium machine gun squad is destroyed.
Fritz!
Kappa, Mutter!
The German Zugführergruppe or platoon headquarters squad is eliminated. Firing dies down. 1st Platoon has been almost entirely annihilated, but has held the left flank. The battlefield falls silent. But for the occasional German mortar shell. The Germans have lost an Aufklärer scout squad. A Sonderkraftfahrzeug 250x10 3.7 cm half-track, a Kommandowagen Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251, a Sturmgeschütz, a Puma 5 cm armoured car, a Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234x1 2 cm armoured car, a 2nd Sturmgeschütz immobilised, the Zugführer group, another Aufklärer scout squad. The German attack has culminated, but neither side has a decisive advantage. Second Platoon searches for targets in 1st Platoon's sector. But no line of sight. 2-4, Hermann's Bazooka Squad, is ordered to move north to engage the Sturmgeschütz. And 3-3, Williamson's anti-tank gun, is also moved forward. Ramirez's mortar squad prepares a smoke barrage to cover these movements. The Sturmgeschütz in the north has a flanking position and can bring machine gun fire onto the flanks of any American advance to the east. It must be eliminated before the Americans can counterattack.
Move completed. Team redeployed.
Hermann's team lines up a shot on the Sturmgeschütz. But are detected and come under fire.
In position.
Williamson's team is in position, but is destroyed with a single shot from the immobilized Sturmgeschütz. The team are uninjured. Decisive American victory. The battle ended because time ran out. Both sides still control some victory locations. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. I'm not sure, but at the end, it sounded as though Gibson on the 2nd Platoon Bazooka destroyed the 2nd Sturmgeschütz. The Americans took 9 killed and 14 wounded and lost 1 anti-tank gun. The Germans took 12 killed, 11 wounded, 2 Sturmgeschütz and 4 armoured vehicles destroyed. It seems like Gibson did destroy the Sturmgeschütz at the final whistle. Let's examine the American squads. Boyle, commanding 1st Platoon, is awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. 1st Platoon took the brunt of the German assault. Kosch's BAR squad was annihilated with 2 dead and 4 seriously wounded. Sledge's rifle squad was also annihilated with 2 dead and 4 seriously wounded. And Benham's Browning medium machine gun squad was eliminated. WW2 lost 2 dead and 3 wounded, with only squad leader Sergeant Musselman surviving. Bronson from Jarrell's rifle squad is credited with a half-track kill. The recon squad suffered 2 dead, but Gibbs survived and is awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Confirmed, Gibson is credited with a tank kill, the 2nd Sturmgeschütz, and is awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Hermann was seriously wounded and receives the Purple Heart. Fox in 3-2 is credited with a half-track kill, as is Smith. Smith and Fritz share credit for a further tank kill and a half-track kill. So far, the campaign remains a major American victory. The Grand Campaign has 13 days remaining. Your defence of the Ardennes is progressing better than your historical counterparts. Over the campaign, cumulative American losses are 204 killed in action, 203 wounded in action, 13 tanks, 2 vehicles, and 13 guns. Cumulative German losses are 495 killed, 423 wounded, 63 tanks, 61 armoured vehicles, and 1 anti-tank gun. So, what did we learn? First, the defensive position was sound. Mortar and artillery fires covered approaches to the position. Long-range machine gun fires were obtained from elevated positions in buildings, and anti-tank guns were sighted to cover street intersections. However, 1st Platoon bore the brunt of an armoured reconnaissance company attack and was almost annihilated holding the line. Second, I am not sure whether the attempt to destroy the 2nd Sturmgeschütz in the north was a mistake. The Sturmgeschütz was already immobilised and might have been captured at the end of the battle. In the end, Gibson did knock it out with a bazooka round. But I lost an anti-tank gun in the process, as well as Hermann from the bazooka team. Was it worth it? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.